world basketball, Caitlin Clark. Now, there was people that was criticizing Caitlin Clark for possibly struggling from three, not finding her shot, not finding her way. Um, that stopped today. Caitlin Clark showed up and showed out. Showed up and showed out. I mean, bruh, this was going into halftime. So at halftime, Caitlin Clark had 19 points, 2 assists, shooting 19% from the field. She was 2 or 3 from
The Indiana Fever dropped their second preseason game to Paige Buchers and the Dallas Wings, but the final score is far from the most talked about element of the contest. The real story coming out of this matchup, which aired on Amazon Prime, was the officiating and more specifically, the level of foul protection extended to Caitlin Clark throughout the game. The referees were consistent and active in calling contact on Clark, making it difficult for any defender to engage her physically without drawing a whistle. The results on the stat sheet were striking.
percent from the field. She was 2 or 3 from three-point land, 9 or 10 from the field. She only had 3 turnovers, 2 assists, 1 rebound. Kayla Clark put on a fucking masterclass today. Excuse my language. That's how I felt. Raven Johnson is playing so damn good right now. Stephanie White is going to have to somehow figure out a way to implement Caitlin Clark in this lineup some way, somehow.
Clark reached 20 points on just 6 or 7 field goal attempts, putting together a performance that drew comparisons to her WNBA World Basketball form at its absolute peak. Any questions raised in the days prior about her shooting rhythm or three-point consistency were put to rest by halftime. At the break, Clark had already posted 19 points, shooting 9 of 10 from the field and 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. She knocked down 11 of 13 free throws and finished with 4 assists in only 16 minutes of action.
Some way, somehow. This is how Caitlin Clark ultimately did. She did not play none of the fourth quarter. The Dallas Wings played Paige kind of excessively. Now, granted, the Indiana Fever did lose the game. Aaliyah Boston did not play. Lexi Hall did not play. And that was pretty much it. But overall, Caitlin Clark put on a master clinic today, bro. She showed why she's the best player in women's basketball today.
She did not play in the fourth quarter. Final line, 21 points, 4 assists, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, and 11 of 13 at the charity stripe. For context, Paige Buchers played 20 minutes and finished with 20 points, a strong showing in its own right. But Clark's efficiency over fewer minutes made it one of the more dominant individual performances of the early preseason. The final score was 95 to 80 inches favor of Dallas, with Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull both sitting out for Indiana.
Why she's the best player in women's basketball today. Caitlin Clark synced that ESPN article. She's seen what ESPN wrote about her. She's seen that she ended up number 10 on that damn list. And you know what she did? She responded with a performance like we see on the screen. Balled out, whooped ass, and the referees had her back to make sure she put belt to ass to any defender that tried to come in her way. I'm super happy with the WNBA referees.
The performance carried added weight given that Clark had recently been ranked 10th on an ESPN list, a placement that generated significant discussion around her standing in the women's game. The response on the court was direct and emphatic. One moment during the game drew concern from those watching. A hard foul by Alanna Smith on Clark was upgraded to a flagrant one, and Clark was seen walking it off before returning to action.
I'm super happy with the WNBA referees, but something I'm not happy with is Stephanie White. I am not happy with the defensive schemes that Stephanie White has been calling. I am not happy with what she has been running, and I damn sure is not happy with Monique Billings. Monique Billings played like shit. She played like ass. And me personally, KK definitely needs to start, bro. Definitely needs to start. Now, there was a moment in the game where
The play stood out for another reason. Smith had previously been connected to Indiana as a potential acquisition, adding an unusual layer to the collision. Raven Johnson continued her strong start to the preseason, delivering another high-energy defensive performance and further solidifying her standing within the Fever rotation. The argument is growing that her combination of defensive instincts and court awareness, particularly alongside Clark in the backcourt, could develop into something genuinely significant. If Johnson adds a reliable mid-range or perimeter shot at the professional level, the ceiling for that pairing becomes difficult to project.
Game where Caitlin Clark kind of skirt friends. Now, it was a flagrant foul that was occurred, and this is when we knew.
First, second, teams first. First, second.
Now, on this play, it was upgraded to a flagrant foul. Caitlin Clark trying to walk it off. Alanna Smith got hit with a
The team's overall performance outside of Clark and Johnson, however, left room for improvement. Monique Billing struggled throughout, and the defensive schemes employed by Stephanie White drew scrutiny, particularly in how Indiana chose to contest Dallas's various offensive sets. The Wings ran Buchers both on and off the ball, pairing her with AZ Fountain in ways that created coverage problems the Fever were slow to solve. KK Walker continued to build a case for a larger role, and the conversation around Indiana's starting lineup is one that figures to remain active heading toward the regular season opener on May 14th.
Off, Alanna Smith got hit with a flagrant one. So Alanna Smith fouled Caitlin Clark, bruh, extremely hard. And what's crazy is that Alanna Smith was supposed to be coming to the team. So Alanna Smith, let me see if I can pull the play up. Let me see if we can pull it up here. Trying to find it here. Wings quarter.
The long layoff resulting from the CBA negotiations and a relatively compressed training camp timeline appear to be contributing factors to the inconsistency currently on display, though the talent on the roster is not in question. What remains clear is that Clark is operating at an elite level early, and the pieces around her, once fully healthy and settled into their roles, give Indiana a legitimate foundation to build on before the season begins in earnest. Caitlin Clark picked up a flagrant foul during the preseason contest against Dallas, and the play raised some immediate concern. Alanna Smith came down into her landing zone on a shot attempt, which resulted in Clark hitting the floor hard and appearing to favor her knee afterward.
Let me see if I can pull it. Now, for some eerie reason, man, I just cannot find that clip of Caitlin Clark landing on Alanna Smith. But let's get back to the video. So Paige Bueckers played 20 minutes, ended up with 20 points. Caitlin Clark ultimately outperformed her and played less minutes. The final score of the game was 95-80. Absolute. All of them who aren't named Caitlin Clark have forgotten.
The referees reviewed the play and made the correct call. There was no indication that Smith intended to injure her, but contact in the landing zone was made, and the flag was warranted. The post-game update from Clark was encouraging.
Her kneecap and says, "I feel good," emphasizes how well she thinks the refs did tonight as well. It was like, yes, duh. I think the referees, they are very clearly refereeing the game in a certain way. And I don't think anyone's questioning that anymore. Like, the way the referees are reffing the game right now, they are refereeing the game. Like, Caitlin is going to probably shoot 10 free throws a game. Paige is going to shoot 10 free throws a game. They are not allowing people to maul others. And by the way, Alyssa Thomas could be fucked.
She confirmed that she came down awkwardly on her kneecap, but stated she felt fine. She walked directly to the free throw line without any visible limp following the incident, and her demeanor after the game suggested no serious damage had been done. The expression on her face during the sequence appeared more like frustration, possibly tied to the overall direction of the game than any genuine physical distress.
To maul others. And by the way, Alyssa Thomas could be fucked. She could be fucked. But Caitlin says she landed on her kneecap hard, but says she's fine. She walks straight to the line without a limp after review. She appears to be fine. And that's one of the big things, because she did look worried. She just looked pissed, to be honest. They might have just been losing the game. But I still don't think there's a point in playing her against the Nigerian national team. Look, maybe a player 8 minutes.
With a matchup against the Nigerian national team coming up shortly, limiting her minutes makes sense, regardless of the knee situation. She logged 16 minutes and 21 points in this game. 8 minutes or fewer in the next one would be a reasonable approach given the low stakes and the fact that it is a non-WNBA opponent.
Look, maybe a player like 8 minutes because the fans are there to see her, but like, is a big thing. We're good. Maybe you play her 8 minutes because again today she played 16 minutes, 21 points. Maybe you play her 8 on Saturday. Like, this isn't one of those games where it really matters. Like, it does not matter in
There is simply nothing meaningful to gain from pushing her minutes in that context. The broader officiating conversation is worth paying attention to. The way referees have been calling these preseason games signals a clear shift in how the season will be managed on the floor.
It does not matter in at all, to be honest. Like, especially against a non-WNBA team. Like, it's a game that's at, oh God, it's going to be at 1 a.m. my time in France. I have to stay up till fucking 3 a.m. to watch this game. But I think you either keep her out or effectively keep her out. Like, I think you rest her.
Off-ball grabbing, the kind of physical contact that has gone unaddressed for years, is now being whistled consistently. Both teams saw those calls in this game, though the Wings drew more of them against the Fever. The result of this stricter standard is that Clark, along with other high-usage guards like Paige Buchers, will likely draw somewhere around 10 free throw attempts per game.
You rest her. Maybe you don't play her every single minute of the game. Maybe she gets rested. Look, I think she'll be fine. But the one thing is that it is very, very clear that the referees are calling the off-the-ball grabbing. Both sides. The Wings did it more in the Fever. And that would be...
Landing zone fouls are being protected, off-ball contact is being penalized, and the game is being called tighter across the board. The reason officials are calling everything at such a high volume early in the preseason is straightforward: teams need to adjust their habits before the regular season begins. That adjustment period will produce a high free throw rate in the short term, but the standard is expected to carry through once play gets underway for real.
That would genuinely be that's going to change everything, is the way the referees ref this game. Like, she doesn't have to play through all the contact. Like, the way the referees are reffing the game is good. And the good thing is that the Indiana Fever, or not the Indiana Fever, that Caitlin Clark is going to get her landing zone fouls this year. She's going to get her landing zone fouls. And that's important. Because again, look, Caitlin
Clark's durability record as a rookie is relevant context here. She absorbed an enormous amount of physical contact throughout her first season and consistently bounced back without missing time. She showed a kind of physical resilience that made each individual hit seem smaller in the moment.
And that's important. Because again, look, Caitlin, by the way, got one foul. She got one foul on a shot. Like, there is, like, the rest of the fouls were her just getting grabbed off the ball. That is the type of contact that nobody wants. Nobody wants you to be able to grab guards off the ball. And the referee just kind of stopped. And by the way, they're calling everything early. The reason why they're calling everything early is purely because
the concern that surfaced at the end of last season, some lingering soreness and fatigue, made any new contact look more alarming than it might have otherwise. In all likelihood, that reaction says more about accumulated wear from year one than it does about any structural vulnerability. The team's offensive output when Clark was on the bench told its own story.
Because teams have to get used to the way the game's going to be ref now. There's going to be a lot of free throws. There's going to be a lot of free throws. Like, I'm just going to tweet this out now. I'm just like, there's going to be a free throw a minute. There's going to be so many free throws early this season with the way the games are being refed.
Indiana managed a single field goal across 11 minutes without her, an open fast break layup generated by a turnover, with no defender within 10 feet of the cutter. That production level underlines how central she is to everything the Fever run offensively. The combination of better officiating protection and a clean bill of health following this preseason scare sets a more stable foundation heading into the regular season.